What's good, guys? This is the last minute full card predictions for UFC Vegas 101. We're going to be going over each and every single one of these fights, starting with the prelims, ending with the main event, of course. And guys, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play the video, so it's going to be freeze framed. But we're still going to go over the best props, the best money lines, and the best overs. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. Here we go. Let's go. Yanel versus Joe Solecki. Obviously, it's the first fight, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for this fight. Obviously, it's going to be an absolute banger. When we look at this fight, Aliev is a minus 720. Joe Solecki is a plus 530. One of the biggest underdogs, obviously, behind Dudakova. Aliev hasn't fought in a while, and he's a dominant wrestler, so we're going to see how he comes back. But we're not here to break him down. We already know what these guys are both capable of, and we know Joe Solecki is taking this fight on short notice. He's an absolute company man. So, obviously, one thing I wanted to mention was the over. The over 2.5 is already juiced at a minus 350, so we're going to be looking at better, situations where we can try to find like a little sweet spot. We know Aliev is a dominant wrestler. We know Joe Solecki is going to be throwing up those submissions, so I'm going to give you guys my best props. We do know, though, Aliev has had points deducted from him before, so be careful because sometimes you never know. A point could get deducted, and this fight could be 10 times closer than it needs to be. We're going to go over the props. Aliev by points, minus 210. That was my first prediction, obviously. Aliev by KO, plus 440. Aliev by sub, plus 1,200. Joe Solecki by points, plus 1,000. Joe Solecki by sub, plus 1,200. And Joe Solecki by KO, plus 2,300. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 280. No, at a plus 210. I think this fight goes the distance. The bookies are favoring it heavy to go to the distance. Over 2.5 is a minus 350. We mentioned that before. Aliev by KO or points, minus 470. Aliev by sub or points, minus 270. And then, obviously, if you want to take Joe Solecki by sub or points, it's pretty good, but I think Joe Solecki is not going to win this fight. He took this fight on short notice. He's doing a good job for the UFC, but he's going to sacrifice an L. I think Aliev by KO or points at a minus 470 is parlayable, and I also like Aliev by points at a minus 210. And if we're looking for a parlay piece, will this fight go the distance? I'll just take yes at a minus 280, but if you want to get greedy, I love Aliev by points at a minus 210. So let's get into it. Let's go. First prelim, going to be an absolute banger. Banger way to start off 2025 UFC Vegas 101. Let's get it. Fatima Kline versus Victoria Dudakova. Fatima Kline is a minus 820. One of the biggest favorites on the card. Plus 570 for Victoria Dudakova. This fight is at straw weight. We know Fatima Kline made her UFC debut at flyweight against Jasmine Davicius, who's now fighting at UFC Saudi Arabia, which is going to be an absolute banger card. Go watch that. Go watch the prediction videos if you guys haven't already. I can't wait for this fight. One of the biggest favorites, and a lot of people are like, why? If she just lost to wrestling, Dudakova just needs to wrestle, and that's a good blueprint for her to beat Fatima Kline. So we're going to look at the props. Kline by points, minus 160. Dudakova by points, plus 800. Kline by sub, plus 350. Kline by KO, plus 800. That's a little bit of a Hail Mary. Fight goes the distance, yes, at a minus 235. No, at a plus 178. Over 2.5, minus 310. Kline by KO or points, minus 240. I really like that. Kline by sub or points, minus 420. Dudakova by KO or points, plus 700. When I look at all these odds, it makes me think Kline by sub or points, minus 420. Kline by KO or points, minus 240. I think a sub is possible. I do think a sub is possible, so I like Kline by sub at a plus 350, just straight. And I also like, just to get a little bit fancy, Kline by points at a minus 160. I think she should be able to win this fight. She should be able to defend a couple of takedowns. She's an accomplished kickboxer, and she looks really good when she's on the feet. Even in Jasmine Davicius' fight, she looked pretty good at some moments. Obviously, she ended up losing that fight, but it was her UFC debut. We have a lot of guys who are making their UFC debut, and sometimes you get the jitters. So your second fight in the UFC should be a lot better than your first fight. So, with that being said, her bread and butter is the striking department. If this is striking for 15 minutes, she should be able to win this fight. So, give me Kline by points at a minus 160. I'll sprinkle Kline by sub at a plus 350. And then I'll take this fight to go the distance at a minus 235. Let's go. Those are my three best props for this fight. We're going to go up. Here we go, boys. Here we go. One of my 6 best bets, It's getting colder out there, guys, so stay safe and stay healthy and stay hydrated because congestion is with all of us. Magomed Gadzhiyasulov versus Bruno Lopes. When I look at this fight, man, this fight screams absolute fireworks. One of my most anticipated fights on the prelim. Magomed minus he was a minus 235 earlier in the week, and Bruno Lopes was a plus 180 earlier in the week, and now Magomed Gadzhiyasulov is a minus 255. Bruno Lopes is a plus 210. We know this guy has the same position as Aliev in a little bit. He's a dominant grappler and he's technical, but in my opinion, he's more exciting than Aliev by miles. Magomed is a well-rounded mixed martial artist. He doesn't headhunt. He sets up his strikes, looks for the KO in later rounds. He's a powerful striker. We know that this guy had a banger fight against Jose Medina, and this guy is a technician. His bread and butter is the striking department, in my opinion. When I look at all these props, obviously what Bruno Lopes has to offer is his good BJJ. He has good BJJ, and he could be a guy who just shoots a desperate takedown. But I do think Magomed is way better in the wrestling department, and he's better in the striking department. Magomed by points plus 220. Magomed by sub plus 400. Magomed by KO plus 280. Lopes by points plus 700. Lopes by KO plus 550. Over 2.5 plus 104. Under 2.5 minus 132. I like the under 2.5. Fight ends by points plus 130. Fight ends by KO plus 155. And then I also, these are just props that I'm throwing out just to see if you guys like any. Double chance, Magomed by KO or sub plus 120 for him to finish his fight inside the distance. Magomed by KO or points, my favorite. Magomed by KO or on points, double chance at a minus 135, my favorite. I'll take that money line. Magomed by sub or points, it's possible it's a plus 100. Pick your poison. I think Magomed is either going to win this fight by KO on points or by submission on points, and by KO on points is a minus 135. Magomed by sub or points is a plus 100. Lopes by KO on points is a plus 290. I think Magomed should be able to win this fight. And specifically, I'll take Magomed by KO or on points. And I'll take him to win by KO. I'll take him to win by KO in the second round. Sorry if I keep on scratching my nose. It's because I'm sick. Here we go. Let's go. Now, this is another banger. Ernesta Kareckaite versus Nicolle Caliari. When I look at this fight just screams a decision. Or maybe it doesn't. Ernesta Kareckaite was a minus 290 earlier in the week, and Caliari was a plus 215. Now, when we get closer to the fight, when we're one day away, less than 24 hours, the odds have changed. Ernesta Kareckaite went from a minus 290 to a minus 255, and Nicolle Caliari is a plus 210, so she reduced by 5 points. Nicolle win over Corinne Lambrosi was very quick with the first round armbar finish. So we know if we're going to pick Caliari, she's going to have to win this fight by submission or inside the distance. She's going to have to clinch. She's going to have to use that collar tie. This girl's really tall, really long. You're going to have to use the clinch. You're going to have to grab her, clinch, knees up the head, knees down the middle, knees to the body, and you're going to have to make this fight sloppy. I think Kareckaite's going to be managing distance, trying to manage her range, and she's going to be trying to dance around the outside of the octagon. This is going to be a pretty skippable fight. Minus 1-800 gambler fight, in my opinion. Very low confidence on either side, but we're going to go over what I think. The Nicolle plus 3.5, I like that. Maybe she could win a round. Kareckaite by points, minus 110. Kareckaite by KO, plus 430. Kareckaite by sub, plus 1,500. We know that's not likely. The bookies are favorite Kareckaite to win by decision at a minus 110. Caliari by points, plus 460. Caliari by KO, plus 1,300. Caliari by sub, plus 700. I'll sprinkle Caliari by sub. Over 2.5, minus 270. Excuse me. The under 2.5 is a plus 200. Fight ends by points, minus 220. Caliari by sub or points, plus 250. Kareckaite by sub or points, minus 140. Kareckaite by KO or points, minus 230. In my opinion, I like Kareckaite. If you're going to take either side, I like Kareckaite by sub or points at a minus 140. I think it just reduces the odds. I don't think she's going to get a sub, but I do think she could win this fight by unanimous decision. And at a minus 140, it's a pretty good money line. But in this fight, guys, I'm going to be taking Nicolle Caliari to win this fight. I think she should be able to win this fight. Obviously, it's one of my lowest confident picks. We know Nicolle Caliari needs to make this fight dirty. She needs that clinch, and she needs cage control. And in my opinion, she needs this fight to hit the ground. If she doesn't, she's going to be in for a very, very, very rude awakening. So I'll take Caliari at a plus 210 money line. I'll take the plus 3.5 for Nicolle Caliari, and then I'll take the over 2.5 at a minus 270. And then, I'll just take the plus 3.5 for Nicolle Caliari. I'll take Nicolle Caliari money line, and then I'll take the over 2.5 at a minus 270. But give me Nicolle Caliari to win this fight. It should be an absolute decision clinic. Let's go. We know Jacobe Smith wasn't even supposed to fight on this card, and he's stepping in for Andreas Gustafsson. We know Andreas Gustafsson actually had a neck injury recently, so we know that that's going to take a major factor. I don't know when's the next time we're going to see him, but I really was looking forward to Andreas Gustafsson. Jacobe is a minus 600. Jacobe Smith versus Preston Parsons was plus 450. He's a dog before, and now he's a dog still. Jacobe Smith wrestled in Oklahoma State at 174, wrestling in high school, and has always been wrestling his whole life. In 2018 and 2019, he competed for the Cowboys at 174 and at 185, accumulated a record of 28-5. He went 2-2 at his second NCAA championship with wins over Drew Hughes from Michigan State and Hayden Hastings from Wyoming in high school, and he had a record of 150-10, placed 3 times at the state tournament, and took home the state title in 2013. So we know this guy's a very accomplished wrestler, and we know he's taking on Preston Parsons, another very good wrestler who has 9 subs and 11 wins, a BJJ brown belt, not a black belt. Thank you for correcting me on that. Sometimes he looks very sloppy when he consistently just shoots for takedowns. So we already know what both of these guys are capable of. Jacobe Smith by KO plus 100. Seems like the bookies expect Jacobe Smith to get a ground and pound KO inside the distance. Smith by points plus 210 just in case this gets ugly. I don't think it's likely. Smith by sub plus 900. A little bit of a Hail Mary. Parsons by points plus 800 just in case Jacobe Smith is another Robelas of Spain. You never know. Parsons by KO plus 2600, which is crazy. Over 2.5 plus 108. Under 2.5 minus 138. I like the under 2.5. I think this fight should end inside the distance, whether it's Parsons getting a sub or Jacobe Smith finishing him inside the distance. Fight ends by points plus 135. If you want to sprinkle that, it's a little bit of a risk, though, because Jacobe Smith is a finisher. Smith by KO or sub, minus 145. I like that for him to finish this fight inside the distance. Smith by KO on points, it's parlayable at a minus 370. I think it's the most likely option as well. Smith by sub or points, plus 145. Preston Parsons by sub or points, plus 500. My best props for this fight are the under 2.5 at a minus 138. I'll take Smith by KO at a plus 100. And just to be safe, I'll take Smith by KO on points at a minus 370 as a parlay piece. Let's fucking go. Let's go. I can't wait for this fight, man. Especially this one right here. Trey Ogden versus Thiago Moisés. This is what a face-off looks like when both of these guys get in each other's face. Thiago Moisés minus 210 versus Trey Ogden, who's a plus 162. That was earlier in the week. Now Thiago Moisés is a minus 172 and Trey Ogden is a plus 144. Seems like the money is coming in on Trey Ogden. We know Ogden is a black belt, a real black belt, and this was supposed to be the co-main. I would have preferred it to be the co-main rather than Ponzi and Harris, but it's all right. Thiago Moisés has had a rough career. Obviously, he just recently lost to Ludwig Kline. He's lost to Joel Alvarez. He's lost to the tough of the tough. But we're going to talk about Trey Ogden, an athletic grappler with solid takedowns and good power. A grappler, but even when he wins, it's by sub or it's by club and sub. Good double legs, way better than Moisés. He's coming off in the wrestling department. He's coming off of that underdog win over Lukrasibov, where he took him down 4 times. Thiago Moisés is a good grappler, higher ranked in BJJ, but I believe Trey can take him down and slow down this fight. I like the plus 3.5 for Trey Ogden, but if you believe he can stay safe in the guard, money line for Trey Ogden is very good. Obviously, we know he was a plus 145. Now he's a plus 144, so the money is coming in heavy on Trey Ogden. I expect this fight to be a very competitive, very bloody fight with blood all over the canvas. We're going to talk about my best props now. So, when we look at my best props, I'm going to look at it right now. Here we go. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 225. I like it. No, at a plus 172. If there's going to be a finish, it's Ogden. It's Ogden getting the submission inside the distance. Thiago Moisés by points, plus 130. Ogden by points, plus 250. Over 2.5, minus 280. Under 2.5, plus 210. Fight ends by points, minus 240. Thiago by KO or points, minus 110. Thiago by sub or points, minus 140. Ogden by KO or points, plus 180. Ogden by sub or points, plus 180. If we're going to try to get juice, if you want to take Ogden, I like Ogden by sub or points at a plus 180. You get 40. You get way more juice on Ogden by sub or points. We know a KO is likely for Ogden, just in case this gets ugly. He drops Thiago Moisés. Thiago Moisés ends up being chinny than we all expect him. More chinny than we expect him to be. This could be a crazy finish inside the distance, but I like Ogden by several points at a plus 180. But unfortunately, guys, I'm not making an official pick flip. I'm going Thiago Moisés. I'll take Thiago Moisés by points at a plus 130. I'll take will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 225 just to be safe. And then I'll take the over 2.5 at a minus 280. So I'll repeat those. Thiago Moisés by points at a plus 130. Very risky, though, because the wrestling department, his wrestling needs to be on point. I'll take Thiago Moisés by points at a plus 130. Over 2.5 at a minus 280. And then just give me fight ends by points at a minus 240. Just because I feel like this fight's going to go the absolute distance and scream war. I expect blood to be all over the canvas with that fight. Here we go. This is going to be an absolute banger as well. Marco Tulio versus Ihor Potieria. Marco Tulio was minus 500. Potieria was a plus 340. Now, the day before, Marco Tulio is a minus 550. Ihor Potieria is a plus 410. Tulio is a guy who's going to be crazy. He's going to be reckless. And a guy who's going to be going for the KO. He's going to fight for the price tag. Ihor Potieria has 1 win in his last 5. We already know what these guys are capable of. We know Ihor Potieria tends to get fouled a little way too much. And sometimes I feel bad because it's like if he didn't get kicked in the groin, if he didn't get eye poked, it slows down your momentum. So let's hope Tulio's not doing all that. I'm going to talk about my best props. Tulio by KO minus 150. I love that. Tulio by KO at a minus 150 straight. I like it. Maybe if Ihor Potieria ends up putting a Cesar Almeida performance where he ends up losing by decision, Tulio by KO does not cash. Ihor Potieria by points plus 850 just in case he ends up wrestling and winning a decision. You never know. Potieria by KO plus 100, plus 1,000 just to throw it out there. It's a Hail Mary. Tulio by points plus 500. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a plus 310. No, at a minus 450. I think no. Obviously, it's parlayable. It's a minus 450, though. My best props for this fight are the over 1.5 or the under 1.5. Over 1.5 is a minus 134. Under 1.5 is a plus 106. Will this fight end by KO? Minus 200. Tulio by KO on points. Minus 280 is parlayable. I like Tulio by KO on points at a minus 280. Parlay him with Kopylov. Or parlay him with Magomed. It's a nice little 2-leg. And then I also like the over 1.5 at a minus 134. So my best props are Tulio by KO at a minus 150. Tulio by KO on points at a minus 280. And then the over 1.5 at a minus 134. I think it should be an absolute banger. And we're going to see what Marco Tulio has in store for us. So let's go. Jose Johnson, one of the tallest flyweights, is going to be faced off against Felipe Bunes. Jose Johnson is a minus 188. Felipe Bunes is a plus 152. When I look at this fight, it's a tall guy versus a small guy. What's this going to be? It's going to be a guy who's going to be trying to look for the wrestling. We know this guy fought Joshua Van. He was able to take him down, but Joshua Van got right back up. If Felipe Bunes is trying to play this game, he can wrestle. But can he wrestle for a good 15 minutes? I don't think so. Jose Johnson is going to be wanting to keep this fight on the feet. His get-up game is not that good. We're going to see. We know Jose Johnson's always fed to the absolute killers. I think Felipe Bunes is going to have to put an absolute grappling clinic if he wants to win this fight. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 122. No, at a minus 106. I'll take yes that this fight goes the distance at a minus 122. Over 2.5, minus 148. Under 2.5, plus 116. I'll take the over 2.5 at a minus 148. How will this fight end? By points, minus 130. I kind of like that. You get a little bit more juice than just saying the over. Jose Johnson by points at a plus 185. It's pretty likely, but pick your poison. Jose Johnson by points, plus 185. Bunes by points, plus 370. Jose by KO, plus 380. Bunes by KO, plus 1,100. And Bunes by sub, plus 550. Johnson by KO on points, minus 125. Bunes by KO on points, plus 250. This is going to be a 1-800-GAMBLER type of fight. Me, personally, I'm not touching this fight with a 10-foot pole. You couldn't beg me to touch this fight. This fight is one of those fights where we're starting off 2025 good. I'm just going to watch this fight for fun. But if I'm going to tell you guys the best props, I'll take Jose Johnson by KO on points at a minus 125. I'll take the over 2.5 at a minus 148. And then I'll just take this fight goes the distance at a minus 122. It's a very risky fight. Very low confidence on Jose Johnson, but he should be able to win that fight. Very low confidence, though. That fight is a skippable fight for me. But this one is an absolute banger. Poniatli Soriano versus Uros Medic. Poniatli Soriano is a plus 176 versus Uros Medic, who's a minus 220. I call Pillow Hands Soriano because of the performance that he had against Miguel Baeza. He was able to rock him, hurt him, and then he just wrestled him. He's undefeated at welterweight, made his welterweight debut from coming down to middleweight, and we know that he he looks way better at welterweight. He looks more cut. And we're going to see how he's going to perform against a guy like Medic. Sorry about that. We're going to see how he's going to be able to perform against a guy like Medic. We know Medic has a 100% finish rate, and we know Sariani is a powerhouse, and he's an All-American wrestler. So this is a wrestler versus striker matchup, an absolute banger. Medic by KO plus 145, Medic by points plus 330, Soriano by points plus 490, Soriano by sub plus 1,500, Medic by KO or points minus 175, Soriano by sub or points plus 370, Soriano by KO or points plus 200, fight ends by KO minus 135. I really like that. Fight ends by points plus 150. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a plus 158. No, at a minus 205. I like Medic by KO at a plus 145. I like Medic by KO on points at a minus 175. That's perfect. That's a perfect price tag. I think Medic should be able to fit this price tag if he's able to finish his fight inside the distance. And then I like fight ends by KO to minus 135, just in case Soriano is able to get the KO. We know sometimes you just need to hit that button and you end up going to sleep. Against Miguel Baez, he wasn't able to get that finish, but we know if he's going to be an All-American, if he's going to take his wrestling shoes here, he's going to be an All-American wrestler. He's going to be looking to wrestle. Or else Medic needs his game to be a game. I need a 90% takedown defense, and I need a 100% finish rate. Let's go Medic, the Doctor, for the win. I'll go Medic, the Doctor, by KO, and I'll go by second round TKO. Let's go. Excuse me, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know why I just got so sick. This is going to heal me, though. Austin Bashi versus Christian Rodriguez, minus 290 for Austin Bashi, plus 215 for Christian Rodriguez earlier in the week. Now, the day before the fight, minus 265 for Austin Bashi, Christian Rodriguez plus 210. Seems like there's a lot of money coming in on Christian Rodriguez. The prospect killer versus the prospect. Austin Bashi is 23 years old, undefeated, good, well-rounded mixed martial artist, wrestler at heart, works for takedowns, goes for subs, sometimes he goes for subs, taking on C-Rod, the upset king, slick, smooth striker, great takedown defense at a 65%, and has been taken down 21 times in the UFC at 135. He was destroying everyone. Now at 145, it seems like it's a little bit of a harder challenge. I love that fight that he had with Bulgarian. Bashi by points plus 100, C-Rod by points plus 470, Bashi by sub plus 470, C-Rod by sub plus 900, C-Rod by KO plus 1,000 just to throw out a Hail Mary. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 186, no at a plus 144, over 2.5, minus 230, under 2.5, plus 176, C-Rod by KO or points plus 300, Bashi by KO or points minus 150. Bashi by sub or points, minus 195. You guys know Bashi's in my 6 best bets. I like Bashi by sub or points at a minus 195. I like, will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 186. And then give me Bashi by points at a plus 100. Let's go Austin Bashi, one of my highly anticipated prospects to watch. And I can't wait to see what this guy has for the featherweight division. Let's go Bashi. Let's go for the win. Let's go, my guy. Bashi is an absolute demon, bro. I can't wait. I cannot wait for that fight, bro. Bashi is a guy who's going to fight for your money. If you know Bashi, or if you don't, go watch one of Bashi's fights. And this guy's not an Isaac Dalgarian. He's a guy who can control his cardio. He will control his cardio, and he will prevail. Let's go, Austin Bashi. Let's go. You guys know this is my lock of the week. Romy Kopylov versus Chris Curtis. Action Man. I like it when the Action Man does that thing where he goes, yeah, like that thing, like that, yeah. And I don't know if I did it right or not, but plus 210 for Chris Curtis, Roman Kopylov minus 280 earlier in the week. Now, the day before, plus 184 for Chris Curtis, Roman Kopylov minus 230. So Roman Kopylov went from a minus 280 all the way to a minus 230. Seems like the money's coming in on Chris Curtis. One of my most anticipated fights. In fact, this is my lock of the week. Roman Kopylov. We know with Chris Curtis, he had the highest takedown defense at one point. He KO'd Buckley. We know he has very, very good shoulder movement. And we know there's going to be a way harder matchup than Brendan Allen. Roman Kopylov is a very good kickboxer, but also a very good wrestler. He's 5-3 in the UFC and has beaten everyone who couldn't take him down. He has an 87% takedown defense, but he won't need it coming off that decision win over Almeida, where he dropped Almeida and he took him down 5 times. Chris Curtis is so clean in the pocket. He has beautiful body shots and he's a beautiful boxer. But he never wrestles, never has shot a takedown. If you fight Chris Curtis, you don't have to bring your wrestling shoes. Kopylov is the pick, strikes on the feet, he's beautiful, and then he works a takedown. He should be able to win this fight, but he needs to be careful with those body shots. Just looking at these guys, when you see a guy who's this tall, you know a guy like Curtis is going to work that body. He's going to work that body. If he's working downstairs, upstairs is going to open. So that's one of my biggest worries for a guy like Action Man. I think he should be able to obviously stay tough. I don't think Chris Curtis is going to sleep. This fight's going to go the distance, in my opinion. I expect Roman Kopylov to win this fight by 29-28 unanimous decision, but we're going to go over the props right now. Copy by decision, plus 110. I love it. I already jumped on it. That's mine. Copy by KO, plus 350. It's a little bit of a Hail Mary if you want to sprinkle it, not for me. Curtis by points, plus 450. Curtis by KO, plus 490. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a minus 172. I like that money line. No, at a plus 134. I'll take yes at a minus 172 that this fight goes the distance. Over 2.5, minus 215. Under 2.5, plus 166. I like the over 2.5 at a minus 215. Fight ends by points, minus 185. Copy by KO or points, minus 210. Curtis by KO or points, plus 195. Give me copy by KO on points at a minus 210, just in case he ends up finishing Curtis. Give me the over 2.5 at a minus 215. And I'll take copy by decision at a plus 110. Let's go, my lock of the week. Let's go, my guy. Let's go. Now we're going to look at these guys. I can't wait for this one, too. Abdulrazak Alhassan has never won a fight that has went past 6 minutes. That's one fact that I just had to throw out there, guys. When you look at Abdulrazak Alhassan, he has now won one fight that has went past 6 minutes. So, with that being said, guys, this is going to be an absolute barn burner. We know Cesar Almeida just lost to Roman Kopylov, and we know that he tends to poke the eyes a little too much, and he tends to hit in the groin a little too much. Plus 215 for Abdulrazak Alhassan, Cesar Almeida minus 290 a week ago. Now, the day before the fight, the odds have changed. Abdulrazak Alhassan went from a plus 215 to a plus 205. Cesar Almeida went from a minus 290 to a minus 260. I think that's more profitable for Cesar Almeida, and I like Cesar Almeida money line. Almeida by KO plus 145, but we know he wasn't able to finish Ihor Potieria. Almeida by points plus 230. Abdul by KO plus 360. Abdul by points plus 800. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, plus 152. No, minus 196. I think we're all expecting this fight not to go the distance, but you never know. You don't want to put everything, all your marbles into a fight not go the distance, and Abdul ends up being tougher than we all expect him to be. Under 2.5, minus 144. Over 2.5, plus 114. I'm not going to touch that. Almeida by KO on points at a minus 230. I like that. He's a minus 260. So just to reduce the odds, we know he might not get a submission. Knock on wood. But I like Almeida by KO on points at a minus 230. Obviously, Razak by KO on points at a plus 220 is always a possibility. Never doubt this guy. He's a powerhouse, an absolute menace. But I'll take Almeida by KO at a plus 145. Light sprinkle. I'll take Almeida by KO on points at a minus 230. And then I'll take the under 2.5 at a minus 144. Abdulrazak Alhassan has not won a fight that has won past 6 minutes. But that doesn't mean that he is not going to lose by unanimous decision. It's going to be a very close fight, very competitive fight. I do like Cesar Almeida by points as well at a plus 230, just in case it's just in case this ends up being another Ihor Potieria fight and there's a lot of fouls. You never know. But I'll take Almeida by KO at a plus 145. I'll take the under 2.5 at a minus 144, and then I'll take Almeida by KO on points at a minus 230, just in case he's not able to get the finish. Almeida by KO on points at a minus 230 is by far one of my favorite money lines, and I'll take that with Kopylov. Nice little two-leg. Let's go. I can't wait, bro. Especially for this one right here. We know Santiago Ponzinibbio is an absolute demon versus Carlston Harris. Carlston Harris is a plus 112, but he was the favorite. So it seems like a lot of money's coming in on Santiago Ponzinibbio, or that's what the bookies want you to think. Santiago Ponzinibbio at a minus 138. I liked him when he was an underdog. Now it seems like I don't want to put money on either of these guys. It's a 1-800 gambler type of fight. Minus 138 for Ponzi. Plus 112 for Harris. Money line is perfect for either side, whoever you're on, guys. We know Ponzinibbio is very good on Spanish commentary, by far one of my favorites. And we know recently Ponzi just took Solecki down, but he struggled. Carlston Harris is a grappler looking to snatch your neck. Good wrestling, body locks, trips, works. Coming off of that KO loss to Chaos Williams. A dogfight, battle of the vets. Good barn burner. Guys, I wanted to do an official pick flip, guys, but I'm going to go Ponzinibbio, guys. I'll pick the dog. Obviously, he was the dog at the time, but now he's the favorite. It seems like this is a 1-800 gambler fight. I'm very low confidence on Ponzinibbio, but I think Ponzinibbio has been way more competitive in his last 5 fights than Carlston Harris. If Carlston Harris is losing, he ends up not even being as competitive, but that has nothing to do with this fight. What has to do with this fight is who's going to prevail, who's going to win this fight if this goes the distance, or who's going to be able to finish this fight inside the distance. Let's look at the props. Will this fight go the distance? Yes, at a plus 136. No, at a minus 174. I'll take no at a minus 174. Obviously, I know in my 6 best bets, I took the over 2.5. That was a little bit of a Hail Mary in this fight. Now it looks like this fight is going to scream violence, and somebody might get finished inside the distance. This fight actually, I'm scared for Ponzi, bro. I'm scared for Ponzi. Look at how big Harris looks, bro. I'm scared for Ponzi, bro. Is Ponzi going to get absolutely obliterated? I don't know. I'm scared, bro. I'm not touching this fight. I'm just going to sit back, eat my popcorn, and enjoy this banger. Ponzi by KO on points, minus 125. If you want to get a little bit greedy, if you don't like that minus 138, at a minus 125 by KO on points, I don't think he's going to get a sub if you're on Team Ponzi. Harris by sub or points, plus 185. If you're on Harris by sub or points, plus 185 is juice. That is what juice looks like. Harris by sub plus 500 just in case. Harris by decision plus 410. Ponzi by KO plus 210. Ponzi by decision plus 310. So I'll take the, I know I said I was going to take the over, but I'll take will this fight go the distance? No, at a minus 174. I know I took the over 2.5 at a plus 114. And then I'll take Ponzi. I'll just take Ponzinibbio money line at a minus 138. It's going to be an absolute banger. I hope Ponzi can prevail. A little bit of a biased pick, guys. But if you know ball, it looks like Harris might end up finishing this guy inside the distance. I'll go Ponzinibbio, very low confidence. Let's go, my guy Ponzinibbio to win this fight by 29-28 unanimous decision. I'll just take Santiago Ponzinibbio minus 138 money line, and then I'll take will this fight go the distance? No, at a minus 174. And obviously I'll take the over 2.5 because I already said it in the 6 best bets. But let's go. Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas, the main event. They get into each other's faces and they start grilling each other to the point where these girls are, and I know we can't see Ribas' face, but I'm trying to avoid copyright. Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. Earlier in the week, it was a plus 172 for Mackenzie Dern. Amanda Ribas was a minus 225. The day before the fight, Amanda Ribas is a minus 192. And Dern is a plus 154. So Dern went from a plus 172 to a plus 154. Amanda Ribas went from a minus 225 to a minus 192. The odds have reduced drastically. Watching their first fight was pretty good. We know Dern was able to get a nice takedown, but Amanda Ribas was able to get right back up. And I liked her leg kicks. I liked how her leg kicks looked. And I liked that too. Her two. She's an orthodox. Her two is landing all day. That 1-2. The jab is pretty good. The jab looked very good in their first fight. I think the jab should be able to be there, and it should be there all night. But I think the 2 is going to be that money for Amanda Ribas. She's going to set up, jab, 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 1, 1, 2. And I think that 2 is going to be just like it was in the first fight, landing all night. We know Ribas versus Rose was a clean 49-46. She was only able to win 1 round, or maybe 2, whatever you want, or however you see it. I think she only won 1 round against Rose Namajunas, but she was competitive all the way through. One thing about Amanda Ribas is she's not a quitter. She can have blood running down her nose. She got knocked out twice by Marina Rodriguez. She has the biggest heart that I've ever seen, and I can't say Dern doesn't. Dern has the best recovery I've ever seen. She springs right back up. She took down Amanda Lemos with a nice little double leg takedown. And if she's been working on her wrestling, she looks a lot skinnier. She looks a lot muscular than she was 4 years ago. So it looks like Dern is trying to fight for that top 5 in the strawweight division. Honestly, I think this is going to be a very, very iffy fight. I think a live bet is very interesting. But you guys know I'm on Amanda Ribas. We're going to talk about the best props. Obviously, the bonus for the 6 best bets was the over 4.5 out of minus 215. And it was better than Moneyline at the time because Amanda Ribas was a minus 225. But now Amanda Ribas is a minus 192. So I like the over 4.5 just in case this goes to the decision and it ends up being a split decision. I like the over 4.5 at a minus 215. I know it's a little, like you don't get that much juice because it's a minus 215. But I'm very confident in that over 4.5. The under 4.5 is a plus 168. Ribas by KO or points, minus 165. Ribas by points, minus 140. Dern by sub or points, plus 195. Ribas by points, minus 105. Dern by points, plus 480. Dern by sub, plus 460. Ribas by KO, plus 750. Ribas by sub, plus 1,100. Dern by KO, plus 1,000. I'm just throwing knives at the wall to see what sticks with you guys. My best props are the over 4.5 at a minus 215. Ribas by points at a minus 105, and then I like Ribas by KO on points at a minus 165, just in case she's able to finish this fight inside the distance. We know the bookies have it that Ribas by sub is a plus 1,100, so we know if anybody's going to get a submission, it's Dern by sub at a plus 460. Ribas by points at a minus 105, Dern by points at a plus 195. No matter who you're on, it's going to be an absolute sweat. I think this fight's going to be very close, and I think Dern always makes these fights way more competitive than they need to be, and for some reason the judges like Sal Diamanto are going to end up thinking that this fight is 10 times closer than it actually is. So I like the over 4.5 just in case at a minus 215. Ribas by points at a minus 105, and they give me Ribas by KO on points at a minus 165. Let's go, guys. Let me know what you guys think, guys. This has been the last minute predictions, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, guys, and I hope you guys are ready for the first UFC Vegas 101 of 2025. Let's get it, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys are ready. Let's go Amanda Ribas to win this fight. I'll go 48-47, split decision, 48-47 Dern. And for the winner by split decision, 48-47, Amanda Ribas. Let's go, Ribas, my girl. Let's go. I hope she's not a gatekeeper. Let's go. Let's actually try to chase that belt. Let's go, Amanda Ribas. I hope you guys enjoyed, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. Let's get it. Let's get it. The best is blessed, baby. Enjoy. Let's get it.